Did you, though, as somebody who knew him and had his trust and obviously have a voice that you have no problem
That's very delicate.
using?
It's very diplomatic, Rich.
Well, you know what, Amy? I try to be
That was
whenever I
really
can.
well done.
Well, did you ever say to him, "Hey, the decisions you're making aren't good for the long term of this team, and what are we doing?"
There was never one time in the almost 30 years I worked for Al that I hesitated to disagree with him if I disagreed with him. I think that's the biggest misconception about Al, that he wouldn't tolerate disagreement or that he wouldn't tolerate those who disagreed with him. If that were the case, Rich, I would have been fired 2 or 3 weeks into my job. 2 or 3 weeks into my job, I'm sitting in an office with a coworker. Al walks in and he launches into that coworker the way I can only imagine a velociraptor would tear into flesh. And, you know, I listened and I listened, and after a little bit of time, I realized he was wrong. So I'm sitting here, you know, Al's sort of across where the camera is sitting, and I said, "Excuse me, you're wrong." Mm-hmm. And I will never forget the look on his face when he swiveled and just incredulity on his face. And I said, "You're wrong." And I went on and I said, if the facts on which you were basing your conclusion were accurate, well, then that's a fair conclusion. But you're basing your conclusion on inaccurate information. And he yelled and I yelled. And as you just noted, I don't have a dainty voice at the best of times. And he yelled and I yelled and he yelled and I yelled. And after a really long argument, he looked at me and said, okay, I gotcha. Mm-hmm. And that was that. I learned then, make sure if I'm going to argue with him, have a reason, have data, have an argument,
right.
Have reasons why you're disagreeing. And I never hesitated to disagree with him over a 30-year period.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.